The narc hurts your children. The narc is far worse than a bad parent. He ruins your kids and he turns them against you. In this video, I'll describe the narc's 5 abusive parenting patterns. Now, the content in this video comes from my new ebook, My Marriage Hurts, Am I Living with a Narcissist? If you know someone living with a narc who doesn't realize she's living with a narc, or he, get this ebook and send it to them. It could save the person years of abuse of her and her children. You can only get this ebook one place, David Clarke's website, daviddclarkephd.com, Clarke with an E. Okay, let's look at the narc and his abusive parenting. The narc intentionally pursues 3 goals in his parenting. First, he wants to completely win over your children. He wants them to love him, adore him, worship him. Second, he wants to control your children. To control you isn't enough. He certainly wants that, but that's not enough. He wants to be the sole authority in your children's lives, making all the parental decisions, Xing you out. Third, and most important of all, the narc wants to turn your children against you. Since he's a narc, being preferred by them, being the favorite parent, even though he wants that, isn't nearly enough. He wants your children to reject you and ignore you, to have no relationship with you, and he'll spend years and years making that happen, turning them against you. I can't tell you how many ladies I've talked to in my phone advice sessions who've lost their children. Preteen, teen, adults, he's won them over. Now, to achieve these 3 goals, the narc will use 5 abusive parenting patterns. All narcs use the first one. With the other 4 patterns, it depends on the individual narc how many he chooses to employ. First of all, Mr. Smear Campaign. The narc openly, right in front of you and your children, abuses you. In fact, he wants the children to watch while he tears you down. He criticizes you, mocks you, yells at you, falsely accuses you. He gives you the silent treatment. He gaslights you. Your children watch you being abused and you doing nothing about it. So they lose respect for you. They lose love for you. They don't listen to you. They begin to abuse you too, which is exactly what the narc wants. The narc privately, when you are not present, tells your kids lies about you. You may find out about some of these later on. Here's what he's saying to your kids right now if you're with a narc. Mom isn't smart. Mom is too hard on you. Mom doesn't love you. Mom told me you are a difficult child. Lies! Mom told me you will never amount to anything. What a devastating message. And he convinces them, you said that. Mom is not stable. You know what? Mom is mentally ill. Mom is crazy. Mom is having affairs. Mom is bipolar. The narc is relentless and tells these lies over and over for years. Eventually, your children believe his lies about you. Next, Mr. Spoiler. This narc spoils your children by giving them gifts, toys, clothes, a later bedtime, the ability to watch TV, play video games, watch all the content they choose on their screens, do social media to their heart's content. It is just wide open. He's winning them over. He gives them the choice to drink alcohol, use drugs, date whoever they want, have premarital sex, change their sex. He doesn't care. By giving them total freedom to do whatever they want, the narc is the good guy, and guess who's the bad guy? That would be you. He is the hero, and you're the villain. He is generous and loving, and you are mean and rigid. He trusts them, and you don't. Next, Mr. Harsh. This type of narc abuses your children just like he abuses you. He doesn't spoil them. He's vicious to them. He's critical, demanding, verbally abusive, cannot be pleased, and applies harsh discipline for small, trivial mistakes. Just like you, your children become trauma bonded to him. Because you cannot stop his abuse of them, they resent you. Your own children resent you and blame you for his abuse. You've got nothing to do with it. They identify with him, the abuser, and keep trying to please him, win his approval, and change him. Your children side with the parent who has the voice and the power, no matter how mean and abusive that parent is. Next, Mr. Golden Child. Some of you are living this nightmare. This narc chooses one child to be his special, favorite one. If it's a son, he'll groom him, the boy, to be a narc just like him. If it's a girl, he'll groom her to be his pseudo-wife, to replace you. Boy or girl, the golden child basks in his approval, loves him unconditionally, sees him as perfect, and works hard to please him. Finally, Mr. Scapegoat. This narc chooses one child to be his scapegoat, his enemy. This child, who could be a boy or a girl, is usually the child most like you in looks and personality. So, of course, he hates him. Narc hates you, and he hates this kid too. Mr. Scapegoat ignores this child, rejects this child, mocks this child, shames this child, spends no time with this child, erupts in anger at this child on a regular basis. Everything this child does and says just triggers him, just like you. Despite being mercilessly rejected, this child becomes closely tied to the narc in a trauma bond. This child will spend years well into adulthood trying to get out of the scapegoat role and win the narc's approval. Sad. Now, our ministry, David E. Clarke, PhD, Inc., is not just about saving you from the narc, even though it obviously is. It's also about saving your children from the narc and saving your relationship with your children. If you haven't subscribed to my YouTube channel, do it. Join our team. Hate the narc, mock the narc, help us save spouses and kids from the narc. To protect your kids and keep the narc from turning them against you, get my video series From Codependent to Independent. A theme throughout the entire video, most of the videos, is building respect in your kids for you, love in your kids for you, respect, and keeping them close to you, even though the narc is turning them against you. This video series, From Codependent to Independent, is only available on my website, davideclarkephd.com, Clarke with an E. And, of course, that comes along with my ebook, also, which is on this site. If you know someone, or you're this someone who wonders if they're married to a narc, get my new ebook, My Marriage Hurts, and My Living with a Narcissist.